This is Sunday Live with Jeff Koinange and Olive Barrows.
And welcome to the very first day of February 2026. January
is over.
You know what I'm saying?
Can you believe it?
No.
It's finally over, I think. It was
Good Lord, that was a long month, like 65 days.
And it's already been a dramatic 2026.
No doubt. And we have a great show for you today. Our guest is none other than Eliud Owalo.
Looks like we're hosting another presidential aspirant tonight.
Jeez, what's going on? From State House to the presidency?
The campaigns are in full swing.
No doubt, no doubt. What do you have in sports?
Yes, good evening, everyone. We have records broken in the Australian Open in tennis. And we also have some updates in the Kenya Premier League, but that tennis was phenomenal.
Djokovic.
Yes, well, Djokovic was there, and well, unfortunately he lost. He was trying to chase that 25th Grand Slam title. Right. It didn't happen.
Start tweeting at Koinange Jeff,
at O Barrows, at Citizen TV Kenya,
and at Emmanuel Ndi.
The hashtag is Sunday Live. Sunday Live begins right now. Tonight.
Killings in Turkana. 6 people shot dead and 2 seriously injured in a banditry attack in cattle raid in Turkana County. Hunger and thirst. More counties slide into drought crisis with hundreds of livestock dead and millions of residents facing starvation.
Wasikizane, ile ng'ombe ikatwe katikati. ODM ichukue nusu, UDA ichukue nusu.
ODM power sharing demand. ODM Chair Gladys Wanga wants a down-the-middle share of government positions in the ODM-UDA negotiations. Gachagwa's Othaya comeback. Former DP opposition leaders demand arrest of those behind church attack as Ruto calls for end of politics in places of worship.
And welcome to the broadcast. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Yulonzale. Now, we begin the bulletin with killings in Turkana. Tension remains high in Kakongu village in Turkana South constituency following a deadly raid by armed bandits that left 6 people dead, 2 others injured, and more than 2,000 livestock driven away.
The attack comes just days after a similar incident in Kapelbok village, also in Turkana South, where bandits made off with over 1,000 cattle and killed 1 person.
Now, authorities say a multi-agency security team has been deployed to the region and is actively pursuing the attackers as efforts to intensify to restore calm and recover the stolen livestock. Citizen TV's Benkirui begins our broadcast tonight.
Residents here at Kakongo village in Turkana South constituency remained gripped by fear after the deadly raid by armed bandits that left 6 people dead, 2 others injured, and more than 2,000 livestock stolen. Villagers gathered at this homestead as tension continued to hang over the area in the aftermath of the attack.
Ni siku ya huzuni ambayo ni mzito pia kuongea maneno mingi. Hatujaona chopa yoyote ikikuja juu.
Ni vifo ngapi ambayo itafanyika ndio government take action, because kuna siku watu sijui ngapi waliwawa Laikipia. Government ilitoa malori kila aina, ilitoa machineries kila aina ikaenda kufanya disarmament huko Laikipia, lakini hapa kila siku tunapoteza watu.
Juzi watu wameuawa Kapelbok. Mwanafunzi juzi ameuawa pale Kainuk akiwa anaenda shule. Lopi watu waliuawa. Mheshimiwa Rais, sisi tungeomba amani ipatikane. Na kama amani hamtaki kutupea, sisi wenyewe tutatafuta amani kutumia nguvu zetu.
The incident brought transport along the busy Lodwar Kitale highway to a standstill for the better part of the day as police working alongside local reservists launched a pursuit of the attackers.
Wangapi wajapatikana? Kuna watu wamepotea, hawajulikani hata mahali wako. So ninaambia serikali ni kuwa sisi pia ni Wakenya. tunahitaji, tuko na ile haki ya kulindwa kama Wakenya wengine.
The killings occurred just days after a similar raid in Kapel Boka village, also in Turkana South, where bandits drove away more than 1,000 cattle and killed one person, escalating a worrying situation of insecurity in the region.
For almost 20 years, imeendelea tu hivi na hakuna peace inapatikana. Last time wakati wa Sala, Kakongo residents waliambiwa wapeane bunduki zao. Wapokot wamepewa silaha mingi sana, lakini Kakongo wenyewe hakuna viongozi wanatetea Kakongo.
Turkana County Police Commander John Tarus confirmed the incident, stating that a multi-agency security team has been deployed and is actively pursuing the bandits. He also cautioned the residents against engaging in retaliatory attacks. Meanwhile, the bodies of the victims have been taken to the Lodwar County Referral Hospital mortuary. Ben Kiroi, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
At the same time, millions of Kenyans in 6 counties in the north are in dire straits as the drought situation in the country gets worse.
Although 23 counties have been adversely affected by the drought, Mandera County is the hardest hit, with Turkana, Marsabit, Wajir, Isiolo and Garissa counties slipping into the red zone. And according to the Kenya Red Cross Society, over 2 million people are facing starvation, with over 750,000 children malnourished.
That's right. Now, an agency is reporting that approximately 2.1 million Kenyan shillings is needed. Billion, make that. 2.1 billion Kenyan shillings needed for life-saving and long-term interventions. Serafine Achingo Oma has more.
North Horr constituency in Marsabit County. Under the scorching sun lies Gas village, part of northern Kenya, worst hit by the drought. For Docho Wario, it's double tragedy, battling severe malnutrition and taking care of her daughter, who has a disability.
Wako na njaa sana, kanda ulemavu, hawana cha kutegemea, mali yao yote imeenda na ukame. So sasa mara nyingine mimi ndo huwa nawasaidia kuwapatia chakula kidogo.
5 meters from Wario's homestead at Mzee Barile Katelo's homestead, this is the unfortunate reality. The pangs of hunger have left his son extremely malnourished.
Ile jilale mbele imemalisa mali imekuwa kidogo kidogo. Sasa watu wanapata njaa, watoto wanakonda, wanakofia, kosa afya, hawaende hata shule, hata kama mgonjwa anakuja hatuna kitu tunasaidia naye.
Ni shida ni ya watoto, ni hakuna chakula. Mali kitambo ni malisa jilali. Hiyo manyata kubwa hakuna mali moja, ngamia moja, mbili, maji area ni yote ni chumbi.
This drought hitting will run into problems of the parents not being able to afford to pay the school fees. So that's also something that we'll look at. Government interventions a bit here and there to help the pastoralists continue that education goal that they have.
In Mandera County, man and animals scramble for the scarce resource. Water. Women and children endure long hours trekking several kilometers to get at least a jerrycan of water for their household. The overwhelmingly long queues dashing the hopes of many who often go back home empty and dry.
Naweza kutafuta kutoka asubuhi na ukose jioni. Ni bahati. Kupata ni bahati.
The situation is dire for this pastoralist community, which has lost livestock in hundreds.
Ngamia anamalizika, inabaki kidogo. Ng'ombe naye pia amemalizika kitambo. Mbuzi naye pia namna hiyo, hakuna mbuzi. Bunda naye diari amemalizika kitambo.
According to the Kenya Red Cross Society, over 2 million people are facing starvation and over 750,000 children are severely malnourished. The humanitarian agency also reports that it will cost approximately 2.1 billion shillings to fund life-saving and long-term interventions for the affected population. A total of 23 counties have been affected by the drought, with Mandera, Turkana, Marsabit, Wajir, Isiolo, Garissa and parts of Samburu listed among those worst hit. Special Programs Cabinet Secretary has affirmed that the government has stepped up efforts to save lives.
Tulipanga kwa kila sub-county maroli 2 ya chakula. Lakini nikirudi kwa ofisi kesho, kwa vile tunaona vile kiangazi iko, tutaongezea chakula ingine kwa kila sub-county ikwe roli 4.
Kenya is experiencing one of its most severe droughts in decades after the October-December 2025 short rains delivered well below average rainfall, leaving large parts of the country unusually dry. Safina Chengoma, Citizen TV.
Now, in other news, Nyeri Catholic Archbishop Anthony Muheria has called on the government to reevaluate the competency-based education system, warning that the current approach could lead to a decline in education standards.
The Archbishop has criticized how the grade 10 transition is being handled, saying the government is gambling with the future of the pioneer CBE class. And as you'll hear now from Emily Chebet, Education Cabinet Secretary Migos Ogamba says the transition now stands at 98% and that the government is keen on fixing the teething problems experienced during the transition.
As the government pushes for 100% transition of learners to grade 10, directing all students to report to secondary schools without fees and uniform, Nyeri Catholic Archdiocese Archbishop Anthony Muheria has called for a permanent solution to challenges facing the pioneer CBE cohort. According to the Archbishop, enrolling learners without addressing capacity and resources risks is undermining education quality.
I think we need order because the schools they give food to these children. We have to take care of their needs. How do we shift the problem from we, who are now embarrassed because children at home, to now the heads?
Muheria warned against politicizing education, urging all stakeholders to develop and follow a clear roadmap to avoid mistakes that could ultimately harm learners.
Our education system is not something we should be experimenting every year, every day, every month. Because you cannot be in a class that was designed for 50 and you put in there 90 students without even space for the teacher to move and expect to give quality education, even in a national school, is not doable.
Education Cabinet Secretary Migos Ogamba says the ministry is collecting data on all needy learners admitted to various schools to determine the kind of support required.
At the point of that directive, we had done 92% of all the admissions, so there was 8% remaining. As of today, we've done 98%. That is over 1.1 million. So our teams are in the field collecting the data of this extra, and as a government then we'll consider and see what kind of support to give those schools that have admitted those students.
The Cabinet Secretary, who was speaking while visiting teachers receiving treatment in various hospitals within the city following yesterday's accident outside City Primary School in Ngara, said the distribution of grade 10 books is ongoing and by 10th February, all schools will have grade 10 books. The Cabinet Secretary also addressed concerns raised by teachers in the northern Kenya, calling for transfers following the killing of a teacher in Garissa, urging them to remain calm while assuring them of enhanced security.
There are some teachers who are asking that they be moved. We've requested them to stay put as the government is assuring them of their security in the areas where they work. This was an incident, it's not sporadic, but where maybe the cases become too severe, then it will be considered on its own merit, not a general position.
We have seen the intervention and the evacuation of our teachers and the psychosocial support being given to the teachers in Garissa town. Those who cannot go back to school immediately are already taken care of.
The death toll has risen to 3 after one teacher who had been receiving treatment at Kenyatta National Hospital succumbed to injuries. Emily Chebet, Citizen TV.
All right, let's go on to politics now. And opposition leaders have threatened to mobilize nationwide anti-government demonstrations if the security agencies fail to arrest those involved in the chaos that rocked Witima ACK Church in Othaya in Nyeri County.
Led by the Democracy for the Citizens Party leader, Rigathi Gachagua, the united opposition, who also trooped to Murang'a and Nyeri counties, mounted pressure on the government even as they threatened to lodge complaints at the International Criminal Court. With more is Stephen Leto.
The united opposition returned to Othaya, Nyeri County, where the DCP leader was last Sunday attacked while in a church service in Witima, SEK. The opposition leaders stormed Othaya town in a show of might and demanded answers from the government, questioning why the probe is taking longer than expected, accusing the security agencies of cover-up.
Sisi hatutauziwa woga na William Ruto. Sisi ni watoto wa Mau. Hapa ndio Dedan Kimathi alitoka. Stanley Mathenge.
Mpango wa hawa watu kuumiza huyu Rigathi Gachagua ni mpango wa kutuumiza sisi wote. Wanaanzia hapo, watakuja kwangu, waende kwa yule mwingine, utakubali maneno kama haya.
Angered by the delay in probe, the opposition figures threatened to organize a nationwide anti-government protest should the National Police Service fail to arrest those behind the attack.
Hawa askari wasiposhikwa na wale waliwa Gen Z, tutatangaza maandamano katika Jamhuri ya Kenya. Wewe ulikuwa unasema ati Raila anajua kupanga maandamano. Hakuna maandamano Raila alikuwa anapanga. Ila maandamano tutapanga, wewe utajua hii Kenya iko na wanaume na wanawake.
And what we saw was an attempted assassination of an opposition leader and the second deputy president of the Republic of Kenya.
Ile wakati atagusa mmoja wetu hapa au azuie haki zetu au auwe watoto wetu, zote tutatoka nje kumfurusha, atakoma.
Wiper Patriotic Front leader Kalonzo Musyoka says the opposition is gathering evidence of police brutality with an aim to lodge a formal complaint at the International Criminal Court based at The Hague.
Ile agenda iko na hii team. Hii ni serikali ambayo inangojea kuchukua mamlaka mwaka ujao. Na sisi tutakaa vile, tutashikamana. Wangapi wanasema tushikamane kabisa kabisa?
Kwani Ruto unabeba namna gani sisi? Ukiwa hapa unatuambia wala ni wapumbavu. Ukienda kule unasema sisi hatuna akili. Sasa huyu si mtu amechanganyikiwa.
The opposition leaders also held a rally in Murang'a County where they rallied the Mount Kenya region to prepare their vote and deny President William Ruto a second term. Stephen Leto, Citizen TV.
I never thought I'd see the day when I'd hear Rigathi Gachagua call for protests.
Imagine that.
Politics, I guess.
Jesus Christ. Still on politics, and President William Ruto has now directed all security agencies to ensure places of worship are well guarded to safeguard the sanctity of the church.
Speaking while attending a church service at the PEFA Church in Gikomba, President Ruto warned politicians against turning places of worship into arenas of settling political scores. Stephen Leto has more.
As the opposition mount pressure for the arrest of those behind the Othaya church attack last Sunday, President William Ruto has broken his silence of church attack incidences. The president, who was attending the Sunday service at the PEFA Church in Gikomba, Nairobi County, ordered that all security arms of government must going forward ensure there is law and order in places of worship.
All arms of security must ensure that our places of worship are protected from unnecessary and useless and retrogressive fights and politics. All of us have platforms outside the church where we can conduct our politics.
President Ruto warned that some politicians have turned the pulpit into an arena of settling political scores and called for an immediate stop.
Pale kwa madhabahu kanisani ni pahali pa heshima. Tusilete siasa, tusilete chuki, tusilete ugomvi, tusilete fujo. We want our churches to be a place of peace, a place of seeking God.
President Ruto was accompanied by Nairobi MPs and ODM leaders led by National Chairperson Gladys Wanga, champion for the broad-based government.
Nafurahi sana kwamba katika jiji letu la Nairobi, viongozi wengi asilimia karibu 80 ya viongozi wamekubaliana tushirikiane ndio tufanye mambo ya Nairobi na uongozi wake uwe rahisi.
Kwa sababu tunataka Kenya moja, na Kenya ambayo inaleta kila mtu ndani. Si Kenya ambayo inasema wengine wakae ndani na wengine wakae nje. Si Kenya ambayo inasema wengine ni shareholders na wengine wanatembea tu hapo ndani. Hiyo ndio Kenya ambayo tumesema tuzungumze pamoja.
President Ruto also defended his record.
Biblia inatufundisha ya kwamba Yesu atarudi tena mara ya pili. So wakati mnasema 2 term, mjue kuna 2 term ya Yesu kurudi na mjipange.
President Ruto later toured Gikomba to assess the construction of the Gikomba modern market.
Hii Nairobi haiwezi kubadilika kwa maneno ama kwa vitimbi ama kwa sarakasi ama kwa porojo. Nairobi hii tutaibadilisha kwa miradi na mipango ya maendeleo.
Stephen Leto, Citizen TV.
Looks like Leto is back to back today.
Busy day for him.
Indeed. Still on politics, and the Orange Democratic Movement ODM chairperson Gladys Wanga now says ODM is demanding a 50-50 power-sharing deal with President Ruto's United Democratic Alliance.
Speaking at a rally in Dandora, Nairobi, the party leadership announced that ODM will contest the Nairobi gubernatorial seat as it awaits the conclusion of the coalition talks with UDA. And speaking separately in Vihiga County, the deputy party leader, Godfrey Osotsi, framed the UDA-ODM pre-election pact as premature. With that report, Seth Olale.
That's right.
The Orange Democratic Party is now demanding a 50-50 power-sharing deal with President William Ruto's United Democratic Alliance in the pre-election coalition talks. Led by ODM chairperson Gladys Wanga, the Orange Party, which held a rally in Dandora, Embakasi North constituency, Nairobi County, announced that the party is not taking anything less than a 50-50 power-sharing formula in its 2027 pre-election deal with UDA.
Wasikizane, ile ng'ombe ikatwe katikati. ODM ichukue nusu, UDA ichukue nusu.
Even as it engages UDA in the 2027 coalition talks, the ODM party is demanding full implementation of NADCO report, which it states is part of President William Ruto and late Raila Odinga's 10-point broad-based agenda.
Ile maneno ya 10-point agenda kuhakikisha ya kwamba vijana ambao waliumia kwa post-election violence wapate compensation.
Earlier on, while attending a church service at St. Peter's Enoka Legio Maria Mission Dandora, the ODM leaders, while consolidating the party's support base in the capital city ahead of the 2027 polls, announced they will field aspirants in the ward, constituency, senatorial and gubernatorial slots.
Governor ni Odi na president atakuwa ni wa broad based, ambaye sisi tutakuwa tumezungumza pamoja na wenzetu wa UDA.
Speaking at Got Kabindi in Masana, South Maragoli, Vihiga County, ODM Deputy Party Leader Godfrey Osotsi dismissed the UDA-ODM pre-election talks as premature, warning ODM risks being shortchanged.
Sisi tunaona hapo mbele iko giza, kwa sababu tutaingia hivi, alafu yule mwingine kwa sababu hako na serikali aende tena atafute mwingine waongee na yeye, pengine ampatie vitu mingi kuliko ile angetupatia sisi.
Osotsi insisting that the Orange Party must field its presidential hopeful during the 2027 polls.
Kama angekuwa hai, alikuwa naenda kusimama upresident 2027. Alikuwa naenda kusimama upresident 2027. Me I know. Lakini bahati mbaya Mungu amemchukua.
Seth Olale, Citizen TV.
So, Olive, I'm going to walk across to talk to the latest presidential candidate.
Careful not to trip.
Yeah, former head of delivery at State House. Who leaves State House to run for president? Somebody, please explain that to me. Eliud Owalo does that. Good to see you, Mwesh.
Nice to see you,
How
Jeff.
you doing, brother?
How have you been?
Okay, yourself?
Good.
Sit.
Thank you.
Are you a mole?
That is the most illogical and incoherent narrative I've come across.
Really?
Absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely.
Come on, how did you leave State House and say you want to run for president one day?
I've made up my mind.
You have to be a mole.
I've made up my mind, Jeff. I don't work with anybody in secrecy. When I opted to work with William Ruto in the year 2019, I did it against all odds. Everybody at that point in time thought that the Azimio presidential candidate was in pole position to win the presidency. I decided to walk to Ruto and work with him in the full glare of the public. It would be logical for me, if I wanted to work with Ruto at this point in time, to walk out of the upper echelons of his government, then go and work with him from outside. It just doesn't make sense.
So why did you decide? Why now?
I want to lead Kenya's third liberation. I've had consultations with various stakeholder segments. I've talked to and met a lot of people from different parts of Kenya, and they have told me that things are not working. And they have told me that, Eliud, we need a shift in paradigm. Politicians are taking us through a vicious circle of political ping-pong games. We need a technocrat manager to fix the ills in this country.
Yes.
Challenges facing this country.
And you are a technocrat. You are a, you think a lot. Why did you tell your boss that you were leaving to do what you are doing now?
You know, in the public sector, if you over-consult at times, you don't move. You get stuck where you are. If you over-consult in the public sector, you don't move. I did not inform him I was quitting.
You just walked away?
I walked out, and I followed it up with a formal resignation.
Tell me something.
Yes.
You would have to need something like 5 or 10 billion shillings to run for president.
Yeah.
Do you have that kind of money?
Jeff, I want to run a modest, participatory, and all-inclusive
Do you have that kind of
campaign.
money?
I don't need to have it in my pocket. I've headed a presidential campaign before, Jeff. I was deeply involved in the last presidential campaign. None of these presidential candidates ever has that type of money.
Where do you plan to get that kind of money from? Because you need lots of cash.
I intend to run a campaign that will be owned by various stakeholder segments who believe in me as the agent of real change that they have been desiring for.
Listen, a lot of people are saying,
yes,
President Ruto has sent you on the ground to divide Nyanza.
Let me ask you something. Doesn't Ruto need the full number of votes in Nyanza? How then would my candidature help him? Because I'm going to walk away with a substantial proportion of the Nyanza vote. How does that help him? Is he not in a working arrangement with ODM, which is presumed to be the predominant political party in that region? Mm-hmm. Doesn't he need the votes there as a bloc? I mean, it doesn't make sense to tell me to get out of his government to go and split his votes, the same votes that he's looking for. So to me, that is very logical. And it is something I'm struggling with.
What party are you going to run under?
We are going to unveil the party this month.
When?
This month, in the course of this month.
You have 27 more days.
Oh, yes, this month. This is February.
Are you going to work with any coalition? Because you know you cannot win alone.
It depends on a coalition for what, Jeff? I would really wish to pursue an issue-based political agenda to address the challenges facing Kenyans. Issues to do with high cost of living, issues to do with taxation, issues to do with spiraling debt, issues to do with unemployment, lack of opportunities for youth and women. If there is a convergence, a common denominator between my political formation and any presidential candidate to that effect, then we will work together.
And if there's not?
But I will not be party to the type of politics I'm seeing today. And by the way, we are back to where we were in 2019. The very reason why I supported Ruto, that I don't believe in politics where you put together ethnic conglomerates for purposes of merely winning elections and sharing power.
Real quick before we go to break.
Or getting a seat at the table.
Before we go to break, when you resigned, did the president call you?
I have not talked to him.
Since then?
No, I have not talked to him.
You know he holds...
People around him have called me, but I have not talked to the president himself.
Why not?
I mean, I'm not part of his government. He has enough people around him.
Yeah, but he wants to call you and say, hey, Eliud, hey, Eli, or whatever he calls you.
Yeah.
Yo, what happened, man? You know, umezama kwa nini?
No, we have not talked. We have not discussed this issue.
I want to take a break, come back. There's plenty more to talk about. You simply don't have the money. You don't have the energy. Come on.
I'm in this for the long haul, and I'm going the full hog. Watch this space.
You need to convince me and Kenyans.
You know, you can have colossal sums of money, Jeff, and Kenyans still don't vote for you. Our histories are washed with such examples.
All right. I love it. I love it. Kalesia, are you listening to this? Are you listening?
I'm listening.
Would you vote for this man?
I'm all ears.
Would you vote for this man?
I mean, last week I heard from Boniface Mwangi.
Yeah.
This week I hear from him.
Owalo.
Yes.
Owalo is wallowing in the whatever.
Wallowing in what?
By the way, I got a message here from Manu Chandaria. Manu, thank you so much for watching. I mean, the guy's 100 years old and he's watching the show. Who does that?
Him.
He says, Jeff, sorry to hear the sad situation. Can Citizen handle 1 million shillings? Decide how you will handle and announce Chandaria Foundation support. Manu, send it to my M-Pesa number.
You know the whole nation has had.
I'll make sure Citizen.
I'll be the AIE holder.
I'll see you. Thanks, Manu. God bless you, and God bless Haruna and your family and the foundation for doing what you're doing for drought in Kenya. We're going to take a break, come back. Plenty more ahead. Eliud Owalo is in the house. He wants to run for president. What do you think?
Oh, yeah. Share your thoughts.
Is he a mole in the government?
I'll collate them, send them. At Obarus.
At Koinange Jeff. At Citizen TV Kenya, the hashtag.
Sunday Live.
Sunday Live takes a break. We'll be back in a moment. In the meantime, coming up.
Coming up, public transport to be disrupted as Matatu operators begin nationwide strike Monday.
One day, while teaching an oral healthcare class, I saw a little boy who kept covering his mouth. It turns out he had lost some of his teeth and felt embarrassed. But as a hygienist, a child's smile means everything to me. That's why Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection unlocks 24-hour cavity defense, a formula boosted with calcium for lifelong smiles. Every child has the right to smile, and a beautiful smile is a healthy smile.
Colgate, #1 oral care brand in the world.
With Lipa na M-Pesa, manage payments imekuwa rahisi. Join Safaricom Business today and power your progress.
Sometimes I need a fragrance to keep me calm, stays fresh in the heat and feels elegant into the night, lasting longer than expensive perfumes. New Downy, lavender calm, sunrise fresh and sweet elegance, freshness that inspires confidence.
Thank you for staying with us on Citizen Sunday Live. 3 people died on the spot after the driver of a truck ferrying logs lost control of the vehicle at Arimi Bridge along the Molo Njoro Road in Nakuru on Saturday night. Police confirmed that the driver of the truck and 2 other men died on the spot. The identities of the deceased have not yet been established due to the severity of the injuries sustained in the crash. Their bodies were taken to the Molo Sub-County Hospital mortuary for preservation. Residents say the bridge is a black spot, citing numerous fatal accidents in the past. Last year alone, at least 12 people lost their lives in the same spot.
Ya lori ilikuwa imebeba miti ikielekea Njoro.
kulikuwa na shida wenye walikuwa kwa hii lori, hata kuwatoa kulikuwa ngumu, walikuwa wamelaliwa na miti. Sasa ilibidi tuitishe watu wakuja kukatakata miti ndio watu waweze kuolewa.
Serikali yetu ikichukua muda tu mfupi inaweza tutengeneza hii barabara. Kwa maana chuzi muda utaisha mrefu sana. Hii barabara ilimeza watu karibu 14.
Tumechoka na hizi accident. Hata sisi tunaogopa sasa kwa sababu kila saa tukikaa accident zinatuletea shida hata sisi kwa mafikirio. Kwa sababu tuko mpaka na watoto wanaenda na gari shule. Mpaka watoto wetu wameogopa sasa. Tunaomba tu serikali ikuje itusaidie itutengenezee mahali hapa.
At the same time, transport operations across the country are set to be disrupted tomorrow as matatu owners begin a nationwide strike to protest attacks by border operators.
Matatu operators say the decision was arrived at after the government failed to take any action on the arsonists who they say have caused them losses running into millions of shillings.
Now, the strike could also see truck drivers withdraw their vehicles to press the government to arrest and prosecute those involved in the attacks.
As we had earlier announced, the strike is on. There will be no public transport from all major cities in Kenya. Every arson that has been occurred, whether to a truck, to a private vehicle or to a matatu, these are Kenyans and their investors. Their property must be protected. And because we have not had any official communication from the CS or even the IG of police, we are calling on the president tomorrow as we down our tools. It is to call the attention of the government into these menace.
That the government should come on board to help us do away with these log individuals who are trying to taint the bad name of boda sector for those who are genuinely working to ensure that they support their family and also give back to the society.
Now, in other news, Riateri village in Bonchari in Kisii County is mourning after a young man who left home in pursuit of a better life abroad was reportedly killed in Russia under unclear and disturbing circumstances.
The family of 29-year-old Clinton Nyapara Mogesa says he left the village in 2024, headed for Qatar, clinging to a promise that his journey would one day lift his loved ones from poverty and despair.
And as Crispin Otieno reports, Kenyans have demanded answers on the shadowy masterminds alleged to have lured desperate youth into Russia, leaving dozens of families across the country broken, grieving, and without closure. Take a listen.
For the past 24 hours, social media has been awash with painful images of yet another Kenyan said to have been killed in the ongoing fighting between Russian and Ukrainian forces. It has emerged that the youth at the center of the latest tragedy hailed from Bonchari in Kisii County. On Sunday morning, we left Kisii town to trace the family of Clinton Nyapara Mogesa to Riateri village in Bomariba. Here, grief and pain is raw. Family members, villagers and friends are still struggling to process the shocking news, their tears speaking louder than words. Well, the death of Nyapara has literally shattered his family. And according to his father, he had to sell this particular piece of land in an effort to travel to Qatar so that someday he would change the status of his family. Unknown to them, the journey would lead him far from Qatar into a foreign war zone. The family says they were never informed that Clinton had traveled to Russia, let alone that he had been recruited as a soldier.
Nyapara ndio kitinda mimba katika hii familia. Tena ndiye alikuwa kitega uchumi kwa hii familia. Kifo yake ilitushtusha sana kwa sababu mara ya kwanza alienda Qatar, tena tukakuja kukasikia ameenda Russia.
Mimi ni mgonjwa sukari. Nyapara ndiye alikuwa ananipeleka hospitali, ananinunulia dawa, ananisaidia kila kitu tu. Yeye ndiye alikuwa tegemeo langu. Nyapara ndiye alikuwa jicho yangu. Naomba serikali iingie katikati, inisaidie hata buroti hakuna.
Her voice trembling, a mother pleading not just for answers, but for a final glimpse of the last-born son, who was her only hope.
Walikuwa na agent mwingine tu kwa tunamjua. Wakaenda tu hivyo bila kutuambia mwenye amewachukua huko.
Mitandaoni wanasema he was killed in a meat assault in a position called Donetsk in Russia. So we are appealing through the parents, familia, we are appealing to our Excellency President William Ruto to intervene.
This modest mud-thatched house now stands as a symbol of broken promises, the only structure Clinton left behind after vowing to change his family's fortunes.
Sasa kijana alikuwa amepanga akienda hapo Katari akipata kazi, hii shamba yake vile alikuwa ameuza atairegeza, ajengee wazazi nyumba, atengeneze boma nzuri.
Photographs shared by the family show Clinton donned in full Russian army gear, at times carrying rifle and appearing to be a frontline soldier, a stark contrast to the young man who left home in search of work. As this family mourns, many others across the country continue to suffer in silence. Their sons and brothers allegedly lured into a foreign war by unknown hands. But who is recruiting them? Who is profiting from their desperation? And why are these questions still met with silence? For now, the family's only hope rests with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs as they appeal for help to repatriate the body of their son so that, at very least, he may be laid to rest in accordance with the Bagusi customs. Crispino, TNO Citizen TV.
Sad story, though.
And some good questions he's raised.
Absolutely. Yeah. In other news, the United States has launched a $71 million, that's the equivalent of 9.1 billion Kenya shillings, military airport runway infrastructure project at Kenya's Manda Bay Naval Base.
A boost to regional security operations and a shift in Washington's posture towards East Africa. The Deputy Secretary of State, Christopher Landau, arrived aboard a U.S. Air Force C-130 to inaugurate construction of a new 3-kilometer runway capable of handling heavy aircraft. With more is O'Day Francis from Manda Bay.
It began with the arrival of a U.S. Air Force C-130 aircraft carrying Deputy Secretary of State Christopher Landau. The aircraft, flying in from Djibouti, touched down at Manda Bay to launch construction of a new runway. The expansion transforms Manda Bay into a strategic American operations hub in the region, situated near Somalia.
We have to show those who would attack us that we are resolved to defend ourselves. And so that is what this outpost really represents. It is a very tangible commitment to the common defense between the United States and Kenya.
The current runway, built 33 years ago, is only 400 feet, about 1,300 meters long, with thin tarmac and extensive damage from potholes and weather. It can only support small propeller aircraft, helicopters and lightly loaded C-130. The new runway will stretch 10,000 feet, about 3,300 meters, with thicker pavement and modern drainage, and with the capacity to handle larger aircrafts. Kenya's Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi and Defense Minister Soipan Tuya attended the ceremony, emphasizing that the project will remain a Kenyan initiative even after eventual U.S. departure.
We have a borderline of about 1,000 kilometers. It's very porous. This is an asset supported by the Americans, working with the Kenyans, and the Americans will not uproot it and take it to another destination. It will continue to be an asset in this country, a piece of infrastructure for security and for supporting the economy.
General Dagvin Anderson is the 7th commander of U.S. African Command AFRICOM, recounts how Manda Bay has long been flashpoint in regional security. In 2016, Camp Simba, part of the base, was attacked by terrorists from Somalia.
The terrorists continued to attack, as Kenya knows well, from Westgate, Garissa, Dusit 2. But then for me, another personal one was right here at this location 6 years ago this month, on the 5th of January, when Al-Shabaab did a daylight morning attack against our combined forces. 3 Americans were killed that day, 7 aircraft burned to the ground. It was not a good day.
For America, the project underscores a recalibration of U.S. engagement in East Africa. For Nairobi, it represents a critical investment in defense infrastructure aimed at ensuring Kenya forces can sustain operations against extremist threats while maintaining sovereignty over the base.
I look forward to seeing this runway when it is completed. I would love to see the first airplane landing here, and hopefully it won't take a year and a half, but hopefully at least in a year and a half it will be done. I look forward to coming back very shortly to see the project and complete it. I think we can all take great pride in that.
Ode Francis, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
Interesting times, O'Donnell.
Interesting times we're living in.
In other news, an 18-year-old innovator from Muyala village in Matayos in Busia County has amazed residents by generating homemade electricity and lighting up homes using a locally improvised system.
You'll want to pay keen attention to this next part. Using a mix of oil and acid and grounding it through an earth wire from a pit latrine, Edwin Wandera has connected 3 households, even using barbed wire instead of aluminium cables due to the limited resources. Marian Nyambura reports.
Edwin Wandera, an 18-year-old resident of Busia, proudly showcases his invention when the Citizen TV crew visited him in Matayos, Busia. Wandera is using human waste to generate electricity, powering residents of the area.
Unless ile avoid factors kwa manyumba wakati wa mvua, wakati wa rain season. Kwa juu najua without that ngumu. Utakuwa affect boma mingi, mvua ikinyesha mtu anakaa kwa nyumba like yako na wasiwasi. Step ya kwanza pa kuwa na arrest, uform arrest. Ni arrest pa kuform na watts. Isikwe sehemu na moto inatoka kwa choo, watts paki kwa ni solar.
2 years ago, challenges such as lack of electricity in his village and inability to afford university fees inspired him to convert human waste to electricity.
From 1 hadi from 2 nilikuwa nikifanya physics. Tena nilikuwa napenda practical. Kitu yenye unafanya ukiona. Ndio ilikuwa inanisaidia.
His innovation has brought joy to 3 families in the village who now enjoy electricity. Wandera hopes to reach at least 100 households.
Hapa hatuna stima. Tangu mimi nizaliwe, sasa niko mzee, sina stima. Alafu vizazi vyangu vitakuwa na baada wao pia wao vile mimi. Huyu kijana wangu ana mawazo ya kumuelekeza mbele. Isipokuwa uwezo haupo.
Kama anaweza pata support na kunachi hiyo talent yake, huyu kijana anaanza kutrain pia vijana.
Tunapata mwangaza, hatukui tena kwa giza venye tulikuanga. Naomba tu tafadhali serikali kama inaweza msaidia, mumuunge mkono, msaidie.
Edwin remains hopeful that his dreams will continue to shine as he seeks more funding to develop his skills further. Marian Nyambura, Citizen TV.
An incredibly talented young man.
I wish I knew that growing up because there was a lot of waste where I came from.
Who knew? You know, it explains a lot because, you know, pit latrines generate a lot of heat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. How do we segue to this next story? We'll try. Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentistry Union, KMPDU, Nairobi branch, has suspended its nationwide strike for 30 days. The union says its members will resume work starting Monday to give the county government a chance to address its issues.
It has, however, warned that doctors will resume the strike if their grievances are not addressed within the 30 days. The medics boycotted work for the last 40 days, citing failure by the county government to promote doctors for the past 5 years. They're also protesting a non-functional SHA cover.
please know that as doctors, we have actually done our part and we are going back to work tomorrow to serve you 100%, 101%. We are leaving it to the county. Governor and your CCs and your team, we are leaving it to you. If you want to sort this issue, please sort it out. If you don't want to sort it, 30 days is not allowed. It's already, actually now we are talking about 28 days. They will lapse and we'll still call our members back out because we'll still come back here and tell them that we are going back again because we cannot continue living like this. We cannot afford a private health care. We cannot.
You have not prioritized life. You prioritize roads, you prioritize houses, you prioritize lands. I'm just wondering, you have not you prioritize giving a child food and you can't prioritize giving that child health so that they can even eat that food. Nairobi County, this is not a reprieve, this is a warning. You must do right this time round. Do right by the doctor, do right by the patient, because come 30 days, we'll be here again and want to remind you, this time round, again, the ball is in your hands.
Solidarity forever, for the union makes us strong.
I love that. Go solidarity forever.
Mm-hmm.
Brenda, we have a guest in the house today, folks. Don't forget, Eliud Owalo. He's running for president of what?
The Republic of Kenya.
Come on, man.
Not Nyanza, for your information. I'm a candidate for the presidency of the Republic of Kenya, not Nyanza.
And you're serious about it?
Dead serious, Jeff.
How old are you?
I'm 59.
Can you make it?
Oh yes, why not?
And you have a lot of technocratic experience, don't you?
I've got existential experience, relevant for that matter, both in the private sector and the public sector, that would stand me in good stead for this bid.
I want to hear about that after the break. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
All right, we're going to take a break, come back. We're talking to Eliud Owalo. He was the guy in charge of delivery at State House. This man, he quit his job, didn't tell his boss, and he hasn't talked to him since. Who does that? At Koinange Jeff.
At O'Barrows, at Citizen TV Kenya.
Hashtag is Sunday Live. Sunday Live takes a break. We'll be back with the candidate in a moment.
Whenever you fly to space or take your first step as baby, SoftCare always stays with you.
New SoftCare Space Series is rooted from space technology. Keeps you dry and comfortable for 12 hours long. Offers you the most effective protection during your space journey.
SoftCare. Protect your leap.
Kibao kila wiki na Carrefour. Enjoy Mumia Sugar White 2 kg at 277 shillings. Pay Toilet Roll White 10 pack at 384 shillings. Oppo A38 Gold at 17,495 shillings. And Samsung 65-inch TV at 76,895 shillings. Deals kibao kila wiki na Carrefour.
Redmi Note 15 series comes with free gifts up to Kenya shillings 5,000.
Monday is no longer with the blues because your Mondays just got sporty. We bring you the thrill of the game like never before. Get in on the adrenaline, breaking down the scoreboard, hard-hitting commentary.
Now that is special.
And in-depth features. Hosted by Isaac Swiller with his panel of experts Stephen Chitera and Zita Jimoy, delivering the power of sport right to your screen. Sporty Monday, every Monday morning on Citizen TV. Don't miss a moment of the game changer.
is the home of the best athletes. But guess what? Even animals wameamua hawatawachwa nyuma this time. Right here in Nairobi City, these particular pigs are participating in racing competition. Na wanatrainiwa from as early as 2 weeks old. Na pia kuna gift ya yule anakuja number 1. Hii ni ile tunaitanga agritourism. I even tried to race with the pigs, lakini kiliumana. Join us this Wednesday to chapiane history ya agritourism in Kenya.
Do not involve the police. It will make things worse.
What do you mean?
And welcome back to Jeff Koinange Live. It is Sunday Live here at Citizen Television. On the couches tonight, he's running for president. Former head of delivery at State House, Eliud Owalo, walked away from his plump job and he wants to run for president. By the way,
yes,
what does the head of delivery do?
The head of delivery, under normal circumstances, all factors being held constant, is supposed to oversee the implementation of government projects, intervene where there are challenges, facilitate communication about the same. That, by and large, is what that functional mandate entails.
What was it like for you?
Well, nothing out of the ordinary. You know, I'm somebody who delivers in whatever mandate I'm given.
What did you deliver? Tell us something we know. What did you deliver?
Let me take you back a little bit, Jeff. When I was appointed Cabinet Secretary for ICT, that was my first formal employment. I'd been in consultancy for a period of 23 years. And within that period of time, I'd already cut an edge in the market as one of Africa's most sought-after strategists. So I'd already, based on performance, gotten a competitive edge in that space. When I joined the public sector CSICT, I found a more or less moribund ministry, and I elevated it to the center of everything in government at that point in time. I embarked on rolling out of the fiber to those parts of Kenya that hitherto had not been connected, setting up digital hubs, establishing Wi-Fi hotspots, just to mention but a few. Digitalization of government services. When I joined the government, we only had 350 services on the digital platform. By the time I left that ministry, we had already digitalized over 20,000 government services, which actually eliminated the physical interaction between Kenyans, members of the public, and public officers. And that is one of the ways through which we elevate corruption. Now, when I was appointed the Deputy Chief of Staff, first of all, I was responsible for performance and delivery management. Again, I found a performance management framework that was virtually dead. I re-engineered it. I brought back to life performance appraisal, performance contracting. And it was at the center of performance in government, delivery of government programs and projects. Individuals were now being held accountable by way of results, as opposed to just going to the office day in, day out and waiting for salary at the end of the month. In the delivery function, when I went in there, you know, it was the period just immediately after the Gen Z riots. And if you remember, one of the reasons why the Gen Z uprising came up was because they felt that the government was doing nothing. I again re-engineered that space, and Kenyans at least were now able to see what government programs were in the pipeline. So my track record, by and large, speaks for itself. I'm a performer, I'm a results-oriented person, I'm a go-getter, and I deliver on any mandate that is assigned to me.
So let me ask you this. Why were you dropped as ICT Cabinet Secretary?
You know, Jeff, it is the prerogative of the government, the president as head of government, to organize, reorganize, and even disorganize his government the way he wants. That is not within my purview as a public officer appointed by the president. It's incumbent upon him to re-engineer his government the way he deems appropriate.
So tell me, can you go up against William Samoei Ruto? Can you match him man to man, mundu humundu?
Jeff, I'm somebody who is very courageous, very decisive. Once I take a decision, I go the full hog. And I'll give you a few examples in the past. In the year 2019, when I decided to run for the Kibra parliamentary seat, I did it on ANC ticket. Everybody thought that that was an ODM, An ODM vote, and it was not possible for anybody else to venture in Kibra on a different party ticket. And I went and did it. In 2019, despite the fact that I came from Nyanza and the whole of Nyanza was behind the Azimio presidential candidate, I went and stood with Ruto. So I'm somebody who is a risk taker, somebody who is very decisive. I take time and I consult widely before I arrive at decisions. But when I do so without fear.
Could you work with Rigathi Gachagua?
I really want to form a coalition of like minds with a view to addressing the fundamental challenges facing the ordinary Kenyans. I will not be part of an arrangement where politicians come together for purposes of convenience, putting together ethnic enclaves or conglomerates for purposes of winning elections and sharing power. And that is one of the reasons why actually I've walked out of this government, because we are back to where we were in 2019. Yeah. I did state when I joined Ruto in 2019 that I was uncomfortable with a situation where a few families were deciding the destiny of this country. Today, William Ruto is back to those same families. You see him rushing to Uhuru Kenyatta, yeah? You see him hoping to Kabarak, yeah? To seek the support of Gideon Moi. Just a few days ago, he was saying he needs to negotiate with Oburu Odinga. Where are the Kenyan people? At what point in time did we lose the people? Because in 2019, we did say that we wanted to form a government of Mama Mboga and Boda Boda riders, isn't it?
Yes.
Where are they today? We are now back to where we were. The same situation that I did not subscribe to in 2019 is where we find ourselves today. We are not with the people anymore. At this point in time, if we were honest with Kenyans, we would be going back to the counties where we held those stakeholder forums, you remember? That was the genesis of our bottom-up economic agenda, to give people our report card. That, look, you guys, we came here, we discussed with you your challenges. You gave us your views. That is what informed the economic charters that we signed with the counties, yeah? And also our overall bottom-up economic transformation plan. But today, all that is lost. Nobody is going back to the counties where we held the stakeholder forum to give our report card to the people. If that means we took the people for granted. And I've talked to people. You know, in my last function in government where I was heading delivery, I was all over the country inspecting ongoing projects. And people told me that, you know, Eliud, you are good in terms of your track record, but you are in the wrong mix. They don't take us seriously.
Yeah, clearly. Yeah. If Fred Matiang'i was the front runner, could you work with him?
If we are aligned on issues, these challenges facing the common mwananchi, issues of debt, issues of taxation, issues of high cost of living, issues of unemployment. If we have got a tangible, feasible agenda of addressing those challenges facing the common mwananchi, I'll work with anybody of like mind.
Former CJ David Maraga.
I have no problem working with him either, based on that common denominator if it comes to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka.
I've worked with Musyoka before. You know, when I was heading the Raila presidential campaign in 2013, Kalonzo was one of the co-principals. So was Wetangula. So I've worked with him before.
And you have no problem?
I don't have a problem working with Kalonzo, so long as we are pursuing this agenda, serving the interests of the common man.
Speaking of which, if you were, let's say, by some miracle, you were elected president, what's the first thing you would do?
One, sort out the punitive taxation regime. Yeah? We have got a tax regime that is not enabling to the business community, that is punitive to individual taxpayers. So immediately I get into office, I will bring down income tax from 35% to 20%. I will bring down VAT from 16% to 10%. I will do away with digital tax. I will make sure that we have got a corporate tax that is predictable. Perhaps rationalize it at an optimal level of about 5% and make sure that it is stable at that level for about 5 years. You know, one of the questions that one would ask me is, if you cut down the level of taxation, where are you going to get the money to run operations of government? And the answer is simple. First of all, seal revenue leakages, avenues for revenue leakages, do away with the corruption, and then bring in more people into the income bracket, Jeff. As we speak, out of a possible 35 million Kenyans who can possibly pay tax, only 9 million are eligible to pay tax.
Correct.
Because they are the only ones with the disposable income. So, from where I sit, what I will do is to re-engineer the value chains, yeah, at the grassroots, where you have got the youth, the women, the Juakali sector, domiciled, push money there to those functions. Bring in more people to the income bracket. By extension, you are going to put some disposable income in the hands of the people. And this will actually bring them into the tax bracket. You will be able, if not to maintain the current level of taxation, bring down the level of taxation, yeah, and still collect enough domestic revenues to finance both your recurrent and development.
Some of us are paying up to 40% in taxes. You're going to bring that down?
It's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. Actually, this is one of the reasons why Kenyans are both angry and hungry. You cannot put taxes at that level and let Kenyans live a decent life. As we speak today, 40% of Kenyans are living below the poverty line. Yeah? Based on the same factors of unpalatable tax regime and, of course, high levels of taxations and spiraling debt. In fact, debt is one of the other avenues which I really want to address, Jeff. And if you allow me to explain, today we are using debt as a revenue-raising measure, which should not be the case.
Yeah.
Why are we doing this? We are doing this because our level of expenditure is beyond the income levels. And we are closing that gap by way of external debt. If we thought differently, in my government, I will only pursue debt for purposes of projects that can finance themselves and generate adequate resources to repay the debt. Today, we are using current debt and leaving it to become a burden to future generations, which is not sustainable. I will run a zero budget deficit in my government.
That's crap, man. No one can do that.
I'm an economist, Jeff. I'm not speaking out of the blues. I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about. Zero budget deficit. Cut your cloth according to your size. That's what we need to do. Today, we are budgeting for projects which do not necessarily are not necessarily aligned to the interest of the common one, are not a priority. But we are budgeting for projects where people anticipate capital gain for purposes of economic rent. This is where we go wrong. We come up with fictitious projects which are not budgeted for. They are not in the budget, the annual budget, and then we go the route of debt to finance them.
Tell me something.
Lopsided thinking.
Absolutely. Tell me something.
Yeah.
Singapore, tutafika na kabla hatujaenda Canaan. I mean, help me out. Help me explain.
You know, I think as leaders, we should be honest with the people. We should be honest with the people. I was part and parcel of crafting the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. And we had got 5 thematic areas that we were pursuing with relevant interventions in each and every one of those key result areas. What we needed to do at this point in time is to get back to the people. More so the Mama Mboga and the border riders who are at the center of that campaign, and tell them that, look, this is what we planned to do. This is what we have achieved at this point in time, yeah? This is where the gaps are. And you know, you own up where you planned something and you have not achieved it. There's nothing wrong with going back to the people and telling them that, look, we faced such and such challenges and we have not yet met the targets as was envisioned. That is leadership. You own up and you become accountable for purposes of results. But you don't abandon a vision midstream and then leap into another vision. Yesterday, I was in Western Kenya, in Butere specifically, and I asked the people, are you going to Singapore? And they told me, how do we go to Singapore without money in the pocket and without food on the table? Their priority is money in the pocket and food on the table. So personally, I don't subscribe to that school of thought, that you come up with a more ambitious vision, yeah? and abandon an initial vision before you go the full duration of the activity period.
So Singapore is a pipe dream?
No, it's a pipe dream, if you ask me. It's a pipe dream. Let's not take Kenyans for granted. And you know, by the way, what politicians need to do is that Kenyans are now more intelligent than they can imagine. They'll know when you are taking them for a ride.
Yeah. Tell me something. You worked with both Raila and Ruto. Yes. And you left them.
Yes.
What does that say about you?
I'm principled. I'm principled. You know, I always have a very professional relationship with the principals I work with. How I came into the political space, by the way, for your information, is that I'd just been engaged as a consultant to design the strategic plan for the office of the Prime Minister. After that, Raila reached out to me, based on what he had seen in me in terms of skills, competencies, and capabilities, to bring some value into his presidential campaign by virtue of heading the presidential campaign and also being his campaign manager. That's how I came on board in the political arena in the year 2012, 2013. We had a very professional relationship. But one of the conditions I gave him at that point in time was that I was going to work for him, but I was not going to work for people around him. Usually, and if I'm working with any principal, I must have direct access so that I'm able to prosecute effectively the functional mandate that have been assigned to. So I worked very well with Raila, and to date, I owe him a great debt of gratitude for having given me that opportunity. The misunderstandings that were there between me and him had nothing to do with my being head of the presidential campaign, but events much later when it came to issues Kibra politics. I wanted to run for the Kibra parliamentary seat. I ventured into that space with his tacit approval, but later on, he appeared to have changed his mind and preferred a different candidate. And that was the parting shot. And I went and had a sitting with him, and I told him that, look, I cannot take this, and I'm walking away. But I told him that.
Yeah. What did he say?
Well,
were you angry first? Were you disappointed?
No, of course I was disappointed because I felt that that was an element of deceit, political deceit. You see, career politicians find it very easy to tell lies and get away with it. I find it strange, Jeff, that you will tell me something in the morning, and by afternoon you have changed your position and you find that you can't account for that monument of inconsistency and contradiction. I find that very strange. I'll stomach it for a while, but if it gets to a point where I cannot stomach it anymore, I'll tell you, please, let me take my leave. Yeah, that's what happened. But despite all that, we maintained a very cordial relationship. We differed based on circumstantial positions, but it was not personal enmity. And we actually maintained a very cordial relationship. At no point in time did I ever attack him in public. At no point in time did he ever attack me in public. We maintained a friendly relationship. And you remember later on in his later days, I was his deputy patron at Gor Mahia. We worked very closely, even at that point in time.
What about President Ruto? How do you get involved with him?
In the year 2019, I'm the one who went to Ruto and told him that I wanted to work with him. And he asked me the same question that you are asking me today, whether I was Raila's mole.
Is that right?
Yes, and I told him I'm not Raila's mole. But having analyzed the prevailing political environment, I've decided that I want to work with you in this campaign, because I believe you have got a good agenda, a pro-people agenda. He told me that, I find it very difficult that somebody who has been perhaps one of the closest people to Raila, a strategist to Raila, would volunteer to work with me. And he asked me, what did I want from him? I told him I need nothing. I just want to be part and parcel.
That's pretty gutsy.
Yeah.
That's gutsy.
Yeah, I want to be part and parcel of this journey. And we accepted that we work together. I was an integral cog in that campaign. I worked with him for 3 years, 2019, 2021, up to 2022, until we delivered Ruto to the presidency.
That's pretty gutsy, like I said.
Yeah.
Listen, by the way, you're the same age as the president, you know that?
Yeah.
You're both 59.
Yeah. And so? What's the big deal about that?
Can you take him on?
There's nothing wrong with that. You see,
you have no
working with
money.
somebody.
You have no money. You need at least 5 to 10 billion shillings. You don't have that kind of money.
Did Ruto have that type of money for the campaign in the last elections, or did Raila have it in the 2013 elections? I've been involved in these 2 elections, and I tell you, none of these presidential candidates ever has that type of money people bandy around. You need money to facilitate logistics in a campaign. And once people buy into idea, individuals will always chip in. There is no single presidential candidate who finances a presidential candidate using his own resources. Not just here in Kenya, even elsewhere for that matter. It doesn't happen. Yeah. I believe I'm a good product in the political marketplace for purposes of the presidency of the Republic of Kenya. I believe that I've got a track record that many Kenyans would align to and subscribe to. I believe I'm an agent of real change that Kenyans so much desire, and I will run a modest, inclusive, and participatory campaign.
Okay. Right now,
yes,
millions of Kenyans are watching you.
Yes, please.
From Gen Zs all the way to our generations.
Yes.
What do you tell them to convince them that you're the guy for 2027?
I want Kenyans to join me in this journey of the third and final liberation of our country. I know the challenges facing this country. Unemployment, high cost of living, high taxation. And I believe I've got the wherewithal and capacity to confront these challenges working together in partnership with the general Kenyan public. And as I've said, in areas of in instances of corruption, I will run a government that will not tolerate any form of corruption. For a start, once I'm elected, I will reopen all corruption cases within the period of the current constitutional dispensation. From 2010 to date, all cases of mega corruption, I will make sure that they are reopened, investigated impartially, and those who are found to be involved in those acts of corruption, either by acts of omission or commission, are sent to committee.
They will kill you.
Go a step
They will
further.
kill you, my friend. That's the mafia. You're talking to the mafia right there. You will never succeed.
I'll go a step further, Jeff, and initiate forensic investigations to determine where the assets which are proceeds of corruption are. And we will seize those assets, whether they are within the Kenyan borders or beyond, and they will get them to revert to the Kenyan public.
Even folks with apartments in Dubai, you'll freeze that?
Oh, yes. We will get back those assets. You see, the problem we are facing in Kenya is leadership deficit. We need transformational leadership, decisive leadership. We have got the laws, we have got the regulations, but we are grappling with enforcement. That is the challenge we are facing. You know, one of the things I will do in that space of corruption is to make sure that I digitalize all government operations, end to end, from procurement to implementation of projects to expenditure, end to end, so that we seal out all revenue leakages. For your information, when I was appointed CSICT, government used to collect about a meager 60 million shillings per day by way of domestic revenue. By the time I left that ministry, courtesy of digitalization alone, the people in government remained the same, the sources of revenue remained the same, but we just sealed the revenue leakages through digitalization. Government was then able to collect an average 900 million to 1 billion shillings each and every day.
Whoa.
Yeah, so these things are doable, so long as there's the will to do them.
Yeah, but the corruption bit is a little overwhelming.
You know, people choose convenience. What happens in government at times is that people use corruption as a campaign tool, that you'll fight corruption when you are elected. Once your people are in the government, they go back and embrace the same corruption cartels. That's not Eliud Owalo for you. For your information, when I was CSICT, that ministry under my leadership and tutelage was voted by none other than the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission as the least corrupt, based on measures that I put in place.
Tell me something.
So I've walked the talk in the past, and I'm willing to walk the talk in the foreseeable future.
Okay, let me ask you a frank question.
Yes.
How much are you worth?
That's an interesting question.
Yes, it is. Give me a number.
Yeah, I'm worth about 1 billion shillings right now.
What?
Yeah.
Are you? By the way, did you take over from Baba as the patron of Gor Mahia?
Oh yes, I did.
You did.
But you see, it was not just something gradual. I've been supporting that club from the 80s. Yeah, so I've been part and parcel of the Gor Mahia journey for the past 3 decades.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've been with them through thick and thin.
I used to go and watch them at City Stadium back in the day, opposite what was that market? Bama Market, and we sing
Yes.
God, Gor Mahia,
Kogalo, Gor Timbedu to Yuagni, Kogalo,
Gor Mahia.
Kogalo,
God, Timbendu to you.
I've been part of that journey,
My
Jeff.
brother, I was there too.
Yeah, so I've been a fan of that club for a very, very long time, and I'm part and parcel of them. The bottom line is not really the position I hold. The bottom line is that I'm part and parcel of the club as a fan.
The billion-shilling man is on the couch today. Olive, we have some tweets coming in thick and fast, don't we?
Lots of them, and there appears to be a bit of a trust deficit. I know you addressed the Mole question, but it's come up again and again. This is Davies Wambu, who says, ask Eliud Owalo reasons for his resignation. Secondly, if he believes that Ruto should be one term. And lastly, why is he talking as if he's bitter? Is he bitter with Ruto's government, or did he sense sacking coming, then resigned? Why bitter if he left in good faith?
I'm not bitter. My resignation is a vote of confidence in myself. I believe that I can do things better. I believe that I'm the real change that Kenya has been looking for. So I'm not bitter with anybody. You know, Ruto appointed me the CS for ICT without me canvassing for it.
But you know what?
Yeah.
You didn't even talk to him after you left, and he hasn't called you.
Yeah.
So you know he's pissed off.
That is up to him, really. It's not really for me to impute an improper motive on his part. It's really up to his judgment. I've made the decision, and I'm not going back on it.
Next.
All right. This is Ule LD, and they say they have 2 questions to Eliud Owalo. One, what have been the biggest lessons he has learned from previous years in public service? Who has influenced his leadership journey the most, and why?
Mm-hmm.
The biggest lesson I've learned in the public service is that there's a lot of resistance to change. And unless you are a leader who is focused on implementing what your plan is, you are bound to fail in implementation of your plans because of resistance to change. So you must come up with strategies for overcoming resistance. We have cartels in government. We have conflicts of interest in government. So that's a big challenge that exists in the public sector. Yeah. The second lesson I've learned is that you really need to outmaneuver the corruption cartels. If you don't, then it's a zero-sum game.
Who has influenced you the most during your time?
The Kenyan people. The Kenyan people. I empathize with Kenyans. Based on my background, I come from a background which is modest. When I came to Nairobi for the first time, I lived in Kibra, because I didn't have a relative to put up with just before I joined the university. And I saw the challenges that the people of Kibra were going through, including myself. And I did say that one day when I get the opportunity, I will help anybody else in similar situations to uplift their standards of living. And that's what I'm determined to work for. And that is why I want to lead this third liberation, so that the Kenyan masses, 50 million Kenyans who are living in poverty, can act a decent living.
Okay. Moving right along.
This is Buffalo Dash.
Owalo is going nowhere with this. I wish he stops wasting his time.
Nomia
Church members alone can't vote him to State House. I can bet Owalo cannot even beat the votes of hilarious Mwalimu Abdubadiba, nor the votes of Bangi, quote unquote, man Wajakoya. Owalo 2,000 votes. Guy.
My base for purposes of vote is not Nomia Church. Nomia Church, granted, has got 1.5 million members. Wow. But that is not what I'm banking on. I'm running for the presidency of the Republic of Kenya. Many people have asked me the question, where is your support base? My support base is the millions of Kenyans, be they farmers, be they youth, be they women, who are facing the challenges I've talked about. And they have told me that, look, Eliud, you need to come out as an agent of necessity and run for the presidency of the Republic of Kenya. That is my support base. It is not ethnic, it is not religious.
But Kenya is an ethnic, it's like a, it's divided into a balkanized country.
Jeff, that is the retrogressive politics that we need to change. We cannot continue doing our politics anchored on ethnic enclaves. I don't subscribe to that school of thought.
All right, this is Abongo Ken. Eliud Owalo is a great public servant, but over-ambitious. He lacks resources required to run a spirited presidential campaign. He ought to have tried Rarieda MP.
What?
I've set a target which to me is achievable, attainable, and realistic. I've got a vision to pursue and a mission to accomplish, and I'm going the full hog.
Can you do it?
I will.
If you
Watch
don't,
this space.
If you don't, what do you do with your billion shillings? What if you don't?
I did tell you, Jeff, that I'm going to run a highly participatory campaign. Yeah, will be supported by people of like minds. I want to lead the third liberation movement. I'll just be first among equals. It's not about spending money from my pocket. It's about what I want to do. And believe you me, I don't think that Kenyans will vote for me based on the amount of money that I have. There are people who have lost elections in this country, but yet they had colossal sums of money. This mentality of money is what we should do away with in electoral politics. That is why people steal money from central government, then they go and run for political positions. It is the culture that we need to do away with, and I'm determined to lead from the front in changing that culture.
All right, this is Nelson Hagai, and the question is, well, like any other citizen, Owalo has a right to vie for any electoral seat. Is it okay for him to show? It is okay for him to show his interest. My question to him: what is his main agenda for Kenyans? I heard you talk about. Sorry, if I can add to this question.
Yes.
I heard you say income tax unaweza utapunguza 20% na VAT.
Chini pia
10%.
Yes.
Okay. So
I've talked about digital tax, doing away with the digital tax. I've talked about maintaining a stable corporate tax at 5% for a period of about 5 years. But I also want to target education and health as matters of priority. Under my regime, I'll ensure that we have free primary education.
Oh, come on.
And I'll ensure...
Listen, every politician says free primary, and it ends up to be BS. There's no such thing as free primary education.
Listen to me, Jeff. Kibaki did it. Why can't we do it? Where did Kibaki get the money from? It's just a question of sealing the revenue leakages and looking for more avenues of generating domestic revenue. As simple as that. And I'll also ensure that we have free secondary education and free medical care in public hospitals.
Well, we have SHA.
SHA has challenges, Jeff. SHA has challenges.
Is it working?
I don't believe SHA is working optimally. It has got challenges. They are not just system challenges. Yeah.
All right, this is Faya Paul. Jeff, there's always that portion of voters who will say no, will not vote for Ruto, especially in ODM. Owalo targets these, then just near elections, he will shift to Ruto's side and demand that his followers follow suit. Michezo ya hii town tunaijua.
It is illogical, incoherent, and in fact incorrigible to imagine that I'll walk out of the upper echelons of one government to go and work with that government from outside. It just doesn't make sense. Why would I walk out of Ruto's government and then go out and work with him from outside?
Because you're a mole.
There's nothing could be further from the truth. And in the fullness of time, Jeff, I believe I'll be vindicated. And we will be back here, yeah, towards the end of 2027, and we can have that discussion.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll be here.
Yeah.
I don't know about you.
Yeah.
All right, this is Chief Kuku. All these ideas he has, did he share them with the president?
I've done that. I always speak my mind. Yeah, candidly. I'm very candid with anybody I work with. I'll always speak my mind and tell them what I feel needs to be done. But you know, if I am your advisor, I'll give you the advice, but it's incumbent upon you to take the advice or not. That now does not fall within my purview.
Yeah.
I shall have, my work starts and stops at advisory, not implementation of the advice.
And they say he's a major micromanager.
He didn't micromanage me. By the way, I'm not one person who can be micromanaged. I'm very independent-minded.
Yeah, with $1 billion shillings, yeah.
This is Muthiani Wycliffe. Owalo suddenly finding his voice after leaving government is not bravery. He says it is hypocrisy. He sat at the table, enjoyed the power and stayed silent. Now he wants to rewrite history and play the whistleblower. Kenyans, this is Muthiani, says, are not that naive.
You see?
I don't need a seat at the table. I want the full table. So that I can sort out the challenges facing Kenyans. This time round, I want to lead from the front. I want to be at the head of the pack.
If you're not at the table, you might be the meal.
Yes, and I'm not ready to be the meal. Just the same way, I don't want Kenyans to be the meal on the table. I want to work with them. This can only happen if we have the whole table at our disposal.
Okay, Mike, active archivist, says,
Yeah.
as someone who's gone through business re-engineering, I fully support Dr. Owalo's efforts to re-engineer government services. This move is likely to speed up service delivery and potentially curb corruption in government.
All right, let's take the next one.
I agree with him fully and exclusively.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. This is Ochuka Ochieng. Owalo is wallowing in miasma of political deceit. I respect him as a visionary leader, but I think he could make a good governor in Siaya than go for this unrealistic ambition.
Listen to people.
I've set a realistic target. You know, I think most Kenyans are still stuck to the retrogressive politics where people believe that you need to have colossal sums of money, you need to put tribes behind you before you aspire for political position. That is the paradigm that we need to shift.
Listen, here's one more. Azontek says, I think we should believe in Owalo. Let's give him a chance.
I have a track record, Jeff. I've delivered in all positions I've held, whether it is in the private sector or in the public sector. I understand the operations of government. By the way, for your information, when I was in the private sector, I designed the strategic plans for most of these government ministries and parastatals, over 100 of them in this country. So I understand the operations of government. When I talk about these things I want to do, I know they are doable. I've been in that space and I know where we have gone wrong.
In our lifetime?
Oh, yes. In this current dispensation.
You think you can do
it? It's doable.
You think you can do it?
So long as we have transformational leadership. All these things, you know, we have all had all these plans before, Jeff. But they have to be anchored. It's incumbent upon leadership, the type of leadership that you have in place. You may have these good plans, but if you don't have the right leadership, and if you don't create an enabling environment for people to deliver, you will not be able to achieve your goals.
Can we get to Singapore in our lifetime?
My preoccupation is to put money in the pockets of Kenyans and food on the table. Everything else to me is an illusion.
Yeah, Leader Owalo, you're going to announce your party later this month, right?
Oh, yes. And we'll be back here to discuss subsequent to that.
Appreciate that. Good luck.
Thank you, Jeff.
Good luck. Well done.
Thank you.
Oh, by the way, do you have someone in mind for running mate? Because, you know, I'm open. I could,
we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Oh, okay.
We'll cross that bridge when we get there, depending on the prevailing circumstances.
That bridge could be very long.
But I'll go for a running mate who is equally an agent of real change.
Younger?
Of course.
Gen Z?
Not necessarily. You know, you may be young in the mind, but old in the... You may be young by age, but old in the mind. I want somebody who is young in the mind and somebody who is transformational in thinking. A real agent of change.
Good luck,
Female?
Time to take a break.
Again?
Female?
Why not? So long as the female subscribes to this, those parameters.
All right.
But not necessary.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, thank you very much.
Owalo the 6th. Kenyans need to start getting used to that. Yes.
But someone
It's
says
doable.
you're wallowing in the miasma of Sijui what?
I request whoever is not believing me to come and join me in this race so that we wallow together in this journey of third liberty.
Owalo the 6th. We'll take a break, come back. We got sports next, don't we?
Yes,
Okay.
Emmanuel Dungu will be up next.
Yeah, keep tweeting at Koinange Jeff.
At Obarus, at Citizen TV, Kenya.
Hashtag is Sunday Live. Sunday Live takes a break. We'll be back in a moment.
Januari inasotiwa pale shabiki.com.
Kwa majina ni John Kamau kutoka kule Thika.
Kuna beshte yangu nilipigia nikimwisha happy new year. Akanipea dhao na nilianza na hiyo dhao yenye nimesukuma hadi 4.5. Hiyo pesa wakati iliingia nilikuwa tu na wasiwasi. Sijaipata pesa kama hii. Hii Januari hii 4.5 itanisukuma. Kitu ya kwanza ni fungu la 10, kitu ya pili ka development hapa na pale, kupeleka mtoto shule, alafu sasa naweza kuwa na kagari ka kujipeleka job. Sitajipata ati nimeenda chini watu wasemange huyu ni mwenye alikuwa na 4.5. Hapana. Wale tunasukuma ndege tusukume kwa utaratibu, na pia niambie mabeshte wajaribu. Nimesort Januari kishabiki.
Januari kishabiki on shabiki.com. Gaming is addictive. Play responsibly. Not for persons under the age of 18. Shabiki.com is authorized and regulated by BCLB license number PG 0001082.
Soft Care. Protect your leap.
Januari inasotiwa pale shabiki.com.
Kwa majina ni John Kamau kutoka kule Thika. Kuna beshte yangu nilipigia nikimwisha happy new year. Akanipea dhao na nilianza na hiyo dhao yenye nimesukuma hadi 4.5. Hiyo pesa wakati iliingia nilikuwa tu na wasiwasi. Sijaipata pesa kama hii. Hii Januari hii 4.5 itanisukuma. Kitu ya kwanza ni fungu la 10, kitu ya pili ka development hapa na pale, kupeleka mtoto shule, alafu sasa naweza kuwa na kagari ka kujipeleka job. Sitajipata ati nimeenda chini watu wasemange huyu ni mwenye alikuwa na 4.5. Hapana. Wale tunasukuma ndege tusukume kwa utaratibu, na pia niambie mabeshte wajaribu. Nimesort Januari kishabiki.
Januari kishabiki on shabiki.com. Gaming is addictive. Play responsibly. Not for persons under the age of 18. Shabiki.com is authorized and regulated by BCLB license number PG 0001082.
Charge on track after edging Bandari 1-0 in a Kenyan Premier League match played at the Gusii Stadium in Kisii County. Striker Brian Mishira converted a controversial penalty awarded by the referee in the 28th minute to seal the win and secure maximum points for Shabana. The victory lifts Shabana to third on 31 points from 19 matches, 5 points adrift of second-placed AFC Leopards and 9 behind league leaders Gor Mahia, who beat Sofapaka 3-0 on Saturday. In other results, the Kariobangi Sharks secured their first win in 5 outings after edging Ulinzi Stars 1-0, while Moranga Seal continued their perfect run with a 2-1 victory over APS Bomet, courtesy of goals from captain Joseph Irungu Waithira. Moving on, the 3-day Kenya Academy of Sports Talent Search Tournament, which kicked off on Thursday, concluded on Sunday across various venues in Nairobi, with more than 17 schools and 13 academies taking part in rugby, volleyball and basketball. The event brought together over 600 under-20 boys and girls, all showcasing their skills in a bid to earn national recognition. In the basketball matches played at Hospital Hill High School, the courts came alive with thrilling encounters as players put their best foot forward to impress their selectors. According to the Ministry of Sports, the initiative is aimed at identifying, nurturing and growing talent across the country. The program aligns with the competency-based curriculum, which focuses on talent development from an early age. This marks the third event organised by the Kenya Academy of Sports under the Talent Identification Programme and serves as a continuation of the Elite Cup tournament, which laid the foundation for the initiative.
But it's been good, better than last year. We have improved a lot.
We have a number of issues. We are rolling out facility development, facility improvement across the country. Study everywhere as a hardware under Sports Kenya and the rest. Then we have the software. So Kenya Academy of Sports is in charge of software. What is the software? Software is the skill, upskilling of coaches, and again rolling out that program to talent identification and nurturing. You know, sports has become so scientific.
Moving on, Leeds United FC lifted the 82 Ultimate Cup in dramatic fashion today at the Police Sacco grounds, defeating Tusker Youth FC 4-2 on penalties following a tense 0-0 draw in regular time. With no goals to separate the teams, the title was decided from the spot. Leeds held their nerves in the shootout, converting 4 penalties to Tusker Youth's 2, sealing a deserved victory and the coveted 1 million shillings in top prize money. Earlier in the day, Toronto FC claims 3rd place with a dominant 5-0 thrashing of Creative Hands. Jimmy Juma stole the show with a clinical hat-trick, underlining Toronto's attacking firepower in the consolation match. Runners-up Tusker Youth take home 500,000 shillings, while 3rd place Toronto FC earns 200,000.
We were very lucky to win. Alafu hiyo penalty yenye kipa wetu alisave ilituingiza kwa game. So ilitumotivate pia tukajituma. Though hatukuscore kwa uwanja. Unaweza vile umeona goalkeeper wetu hapo sawa.
Kulingana na game nimepata football ya Kenya na grow. Football ya Kenya na grow because nimekuwa hapa game zote all 3 days, all 8 teams within Nairobi zikiplay, and I believe in future if to maximize in nurturing and developing talent to the infrastructures in a way that environment are fit for players to grow.
Now, several new talents emerged as organisers of the 2026 Para-Athletics National Trials termed the exercise as a total success as it concluded at the Jaramogi Oginga Odinga Stadium in Siaya County with a total of 312 para-athletes from 26 counties taking part in a 2-day national trials. Kenyan para-athlete Stency Neema dominated the T47 100 and 200 metre women races. In the 100, she won with ease, clocking a time of 13.0 seconds, a qualifying mark according to the global standards. Samson Ojuka, who won Kenya a long jump silver medal at the 2024 Paralympics in France, won the men T37 100 metre race in a qualifying time of 12.6, beating his closest opponent Fred Ochieng by a significant margin. In a bid to unearth raw talent from across the country, organisers have extended an open invitation to a wide range of participants.
But specifically naweza ongea kuhusu 1500 meters whereby nimekuwa na Nancy Chelagat na Evans Rodich ambapo wamekimbia na wameparticipate na wamequalify kwenda Dubai. So nafurahi sana, that is my achievements.
All these disability schools, most of them wameleta watoto na wakiona hivi hata wakisoma wanafurahia kuona hii maneno. Tumeshukuru na next time tukifanya championship nataka waendelee kujitokeza.
More sports. One-day sports competitions for persons living with visual and hearing impairments concluded today at Mount Kenya University in Thika, Kiambu County. The games, which included chess, table tennis and baseball for persons with disabilities, brought together students from various institutions. Organisers said the event also served as preparation ahead of international competitions scheduled for April. Speaking during the event, Charles Waitherero, a representative of persons with disabilities, noted that the standard of competition has greatly improved. He expressed confidence that the Kenyan team will be well prepared ahead of the upcoming April competitions.
These games were good and they have helped us to range where we are, and they have also given a new opportunity. New challengers have come in the field, and that also offers pressure for the old players also to up their game.
Today, you realize for blind chess, most of the athletes are students from high school. They are from Thika High School for the Blind. This is as a result of a project that we are running where we are trying to promote chess in schools. Actually, this year we are going to have for the very first time blind chess being part of the special